Third step down, well, step down now is the contract parameters. Now, as part of the actual migration across into NextGen REM, there are quite a few different parameters that have now changed for the new REM model. What you'll find is that, say, for example, in regards to your recontract multiplier, that's now changed from 1.5 to 1. We've now introduced a new multiplier for your prepaid to postpaid migrations, and they actually have their own unique one, which again, currently on NextGen REM is 1. The flat uplift fees are still $0 for both new and recontracts. The fees for casuals are still set at $33 and the same for SIM only. We have the contract expiry period now changed from your 60-day period to the 31-day master period. And also the upfront incentive is still $0, and we've introduced a new REM type now called an additional service-only recontracting incentive, which actually exists when you actually sell an all-for-biz or a BMA service for the TBCs that are applicable on their TDA to that payment. Now, all of these contract parameters, we actually have a UPG script for you to automatically populate these for you, so don't be too concerned. That script will be available with all the upgrade files, so you can run the UPG, and that UPG will populate these details for every single company in your database. Okay, for those of you who actually have multiple companies in your ICE database, some being TLS, some not being TLS, the UPG will actually upgrade and actually insert these records for all companies, and what you'll need to then do is go to the non-TLS companies and modify them again back to what they're supposed to be as the 1st of the 11th for you. But again, for those in that situation, if you do come unstuck or again would require some assistance, please contact our support desk and we are more than happy to help you out with that. Now, the last part of our data maintenance we're going to go through is in regards to the handset mapping. Now, the handset mapping is very, very important because, as I said before, we've actually now no longer got a unique relationship or a distinct relationship for every actual promotion type back to a handset. So we need to now find a way to, as a workflow perspective, not actually inhibit the front of house staff and to keep it nice and succinct for all the users. What we've actually introduced as part of 2.34 is a new feature set called the Telstra Handset Mapping Table. And what this actually does, this actually allows you to actually map the Telstra schedule back to a certain stock master product. And that way as well, when that product's sold, they can only choose actual drop-downs for subsidies for handsets that have been mapped. Now again, this only happens once when you first actually insert that record, so again for a new product, and again will never need to be mapped again until a new product arises. As part of the SIF file, we will actually be sending you through on that email a list of any new phones that require mapping, which have been introduced into the Telstra commissioning system that actually allow you to put on subsidy. Now keep in mind, these are only applicable to subsidy handsets. Okay, so again, for all of your MRO approved handsets which are not available on sub, there is no need to map them. This is actually only from a perspective of actually mapping subsidy connections or subsidy applicable handsets. Now, to actually do the mapping, it's very, very straightforward. All you need to do is from the handset drop down here, is drop down and choose the handset in question. Now, if you would like to, we can give you a list of all of the actual items actually in here, but the easiest way if you want to, alphanumeric, you can sort it by handset order and go through each individual handset and map them one for one, okay? If you would like a list of all the ones that are in here, please let us know and we can provide you one as well. Now, we are actually aware as well there are quite a few handsets still on this list through CCG, which you may not sell at the moment or again may now have become obsolete. In that instance, please do not worry about mapping them at all. There is no need for them if they are obsolete. And again, just map the products which are applicable at the current point in time and that are currently sellable, okay? So again, don't be concerned about any of the ones there that actually you can see that you have not sold for a long period of time. Now, the system also uses the same Siebel workarounds as you actually have on the floor. So if Telstra actually need to use handset 27, handset 28, handset 29, etc., for any of their links back to a handset, ICE actually understands it back to that level. And that way as well, you can take the hassle out of the front of house staff needing to know that by just mapping this actual pseudonym to the handset, and in that way, they've only got one to choose from at the POS till anyway, and they cannot make any mistakes, okay? So again, all this data will refer directly back to how you're doing your Siebel activation through the Siebel system.
Shane?
Yes?
When you say mapping, you're talking about aligning the handset with the code.
Exactly right, yeah. So I'll show you right now. What we basically do is, say if I had for Apple iPhone 4, say for example, I would choose the applicable product, go to the Edit Product button in the very top right-hand side here, and now actually map it back to our inventory master product. All I need to do to actually do that, this one's actually existingly attached to it, so I would go to New Row, click on the stock code of the 3 dots here, and then again I would do a search on the applicable handsets in my actual inventory items. If, say, for example, I was mapping Samsung one, for example, to this product, I would actually go OK. You can see it's been added, and then I would apply the row edit. Of course, you don't use one unique to that actual handset name, but this is for illustration sake. Now, again, we are fully aware that you might actually have different colors for each handset that will only have one handset name. So say, for example, your Apple iPhone, you'll have one in black, one in white. So ISO actually allow you to actually have multiple products attached to one handset in the schedule. So that way you'll only have to map that once and it's all set to go. Okay? Now again, I can't stress this enough. It only happens once when a product is actually first introduced, and then again, even if it's a REM change, that's no different. You'll never need to come back and remap that product ever again. Okay? And I will show you through the front of house process how this actually will help out any errors in front of house for you as well. Okay. Next stage, guys, I want to go through now is talking about the ARO functionality set. Now, as part of the actual next-gen REM, there actually is a new promotion now called the accessory repayment option, which actually has 2 tiers, the 120 tier and the 240 tier. The 120 tier has a $20 finance charge on it, and the 240 tier has a $40 finance charge for it. Now, what we need in ICE, and ICE does understand the ARO, we need to actually set up the finance charge data so ICE knows how to actually expend those values. So it's very, very important by Telstra standards that when we actually do sell an ARO, the customer is fully entitled to the actual complete GST credit. So if they say, for example, do purchase a 120 ARO, and I'll show you in a moment as well, you actually see 120 on the actual receipt and the customer will not actually see at all the actual finance charge. But we need to obviously account for it in the system because the dealer will only actually get $100 back from CCG for a 120 ARO and $200 back for a 240 ARO. Now to do that, under the POS payment type, we need to actually set up a new inventory item for the finance charge and map it back to the ARO. Now this is actually done under admin, setup, general, POS payment types. Now as part of the upgrade, the system has actually introduced an ARO financed payment type as part of the upgrade for you already. So what you need to do is actually for each branch, and again, for those that are one-for-one, only done on the one record, if you have multiple branches, you'll have multiple ARO finance charge lines. All you'll need to do is actually go across, go to the Details tab, and actually assign the finance charge stock code against to the ARO. The system already knows what the tiers are. We've predefined these based on the Telstra standard. So again, it already knows that for a 240 tier, there will be a $40 finance charge, and a 120 tier will be a $20 finance charge. Now, for ease of use and to make things quite easy to actually view on your P&L, we would recommend that as part of a normal inventory setup, you create a brand new GL Master account for your ARO finance charge. In this instance, I'll show you what I've put into my demo one. Okay. This is now allowing you to actually have all of your actual ARO finance charges going into a unique GL account, so that way it's easy from a P&L perspective to actually see them. What we also need to do, and this is a normal ICE setup engagement, is actually now make a brand new GL set code for a non-stock item and actually map that back to that GL account. Now again, when you're creating your actual GL set code, you can name them to whatever convention you'd like. I've named mine for illustration sake as ARO fin charge, but again, if you want to use a different naming convention, it's completely up to you. So by, again, making that GL set code, please attach then your GL Master account to it as well as the tax payable as you would any other non-stock GL set code in ICE. Now, the last part you'll need to do as well now is actually create the inventory master file record for that finance charge. So under admin inventory, we need to have a non-stock code to utilise every single time an ARO is actually sold, so we can actually accrue that finance charge. So again, what I recommend to do,
remote working software that lets you work on the go, and smart
apologies guys, let's put us on hold.
that make customer service even
What we need to basically do is,
and a lot
with the ARO finance charge, again, set up a brand new inventory item, okay? Again, I would actually name it ARO fin charge as being the actual product code to make it nice and easy definable. And again, the product description for it as well. Okay? What you'll need to do, obviously, is, like any other non-stock item, is actually attach the actual GL set code to this item, so that way the system has already had that product code predefined and ready to go. And again, it's exactly the same as how you would normally set up any non-stock code in the system. Okay? Now, ICE actually utilises the tax status here in regards to setting whether or not the finance charge component is actually tax inclusive, yes or no. From the feedback we've received from Telstra, we believe that the finance charge is not GST inclusive. So for my illustration here, I've set it to non-taxable and tax rate at $0. Please speak to your CCG relationship specialist to actually confirm that there is no tax component at all on the ARO finance charge. Okay? If you do have any concerns at all, please feel free to actually speak to us and we'll be able to help you out with that as well.
It's how we connect.
Okay. Alrighty. Now guys, what we need to also do in part of the setup, again, there actually is a sheet to help you out if you get concerned with obviously all these steps for configuration, is that we need to actually set up an ARO account, ARO stock code for an actual no connect write-off. So in the same manner as you have for your MRO. So if I jump into the inventory master file, you'll see in the current system, you actually have one for MRO at the moment, and we need to set up one for ARO. So I'm going to put these both next to each other so you'll know what you've got currently set up in your system. Now the one here you can see on the left will currently exist. And we're now making the same kind of thing for our ARO. So that way, let's say for example, you actually receive a payment from Telstra for an ARO which you never actually sold to the customer. It will actually allow you to then use the payment processing to actually go through and actually then apply that payment and write it off.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello? Hello, is that person that just come back on? Can you not put your phone on hold? Lots of people dropped out because of it.
Thank you very much for that. Cheers. Okay. So, as I was saying before, so if we actually do get a payment for an ARO which we have never sold, we need to obviously have the option, and we have got set up in the system, to be able to do payment processing, do a no connect entry, and then actually be able to pay that ARO and allocate it to a banking advice or in a detailed advice, and then in time, if required, need to obviously zero balance it out to pull it out of the system. So we will need to set up our ARO adjustment account in the same manner as we have with the MRO adjustment account. Now, as I said, I'll put these ones side by side. This one here on the left already exists in your current setup, but I'm just showing you like for like of what to put through. Okay? So what I would recommend we actually do, guys, and again, it's up to you and where you want it to go to. We need to, again, insert a new stock record and, again, map that to the actual account set code, which you want to utilise for your actual ARO adjustments. Now, again, I've put this one in an advert for an example. Obviously, you wouldn't use advert as being your actual account set code. If you'd like to, I would recommend making one like your MRO adjustment, called ARO adjustment, and that way you might actually have a GL set code pointing directly to a separate GL account if you want to recognise anything you've been paid for that wasn't a sale generated by the store, or again you might want to use an existing sales account. Okay? For example, with your MRO one currently, if you have a look at your MRO adjustment account, it's currently going to an invoice sales account of MRO adjustment. You might want to actually create a brand new GL account called Telstra Reimbursements-ARO adjustment, and then again create a brand new GL set code for that ARO adjustment GL set code, and then map that back here from the account set code level. That way, the system, as it does with the MROs, will actually use this account set code set here to actually push all of that revenue across into your profit and loss in the instance where you do zero balance an actual ARO adjustment that wasn't purchased by yourself. Cool. Again, you'd actually have the account set code now. That would actually be an ARO adjustment set code, and we map them all back. That way the system actually knows how to actually put those no connects across.